Well, hello, and welcome to the Contentful User Show. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless creator. There's my information. I always mess this one up. It's right there. There it is. Marcelo at headlesscreator.com. This is episode 11, and today I'm going to talk to you about something that I feel confuses a lot of people, including myself sometimes. But how is Contentful system structured internally so that when you talk to your authors or to anybody, use the right terminology so that way people don't get confused. So I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm going to be talking about what are spaces, what are environments, how do they relate to each other, what's an organization in Contentful, so on and so forth. But like always, before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and get you on. Oh, I usually have this open. I guess today I didn't, but there you go, headlesscreator.com. If you have any questions, check out headlesscreator.com. I have the shows. This show, episode 11, will be under the Contentful User Show right there. If you click on that, you'll get to Contentful User Show. The content model, it's not really a content model, but the diagram I have here today, it will be listed here. When you click on the show episode, you'll see at the bottom further information, and you'll see a link to that Miro board, which is what I will be showing you today. So that's today's episode. Do come back tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Contentful Dev Show, because I'm going to have a special episode, and I will tell you what that episode is right now because I'm pulling it up here in my notes. It's Exporting Content Hierarchies from Contentful, and this is with Alex Dubinsky, this is going to be his third time being here. So make sure you come for that one. It's tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And like always, if you enjoy any of my shows, you will notice make a donation. Feel free to make any donation you want. And above here, you see all of my links to my social media networks, to YouTube Live, to Facebook Live, to LinkedIn, Twitch. Please sign up, and I really appreciate that. All right, having said that, let's go ahead and get into the system architecture of Contentful. And I think this is something that many people get confused at. When they first log into Contentful, they go like, where am I? I am lost. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know how things relate to each other. So what I was thinking, before we dig into the details at the bottom here, is that we take a sort of a 30,000 level foot level of where we're at, what it is, how's the system, and how the parts in the system relate to each other. So everything in Contentful starts with an organization. When you purchase Contentful, you get an organization, and that could be think of the organization as your company. Okay. Now, you could be an owner of multiple organizations. You don't have to have just one organization, but in general, you're just going to have one org. They call it the organization. An organization itself, your company, in Contentful, that's the system, will have spaces. Okay. And spaces is where you actually start creating your projects that will run in Contentful. Now, spaces themselves have and you can have multiple spaces, okay? So you may have hundreds of spaces. Of course, you have to pay for spaces, but you will have that. And I'll show you how a space plan relates to an org membership. You need both. Then spaces themselves have multiple environments. And think of an environment just like a repository, like a GitHub repository. You can have a master environment. You can have a staging environment. You can have an integration environment. You can do whatever you want. Now, this is where it gets confusing because content models are not stored at the space level. They're stored at the environment level. What that means is that you can have a content model be one thing in one environment, and then you can create a new environment in that space and have a different content model, or change that content model to test things out. So keep in mind that whenever you're creating content models, that they are at the environment level, not at the space level, okay? So that's really important to understand. Now, content models, you can only have one content model, and I'm sure Contentful right now, they're watching, or anybody else watching, are like, what do you mean you can only have? Well, you can only have one content model. A content model is made up of multiple content types, right? So that's your content model in that environment. That environment holds a content model, and the content model can have